Welcome back, my Conrad warriors, the channel of mindset. Alexander the Great, one of the most legendary military minds in history, wasn't just a conqueror of lands, but a master of mindset. In this video, we dive deep into his most powerful quotes, words that reveal the mindset of a man who built an empire before the age of 30. You'll discover timeless insights on courage, leadership, ambition, and the price of greatness. Whether you're chasing your goals, leading others, or fighting your own internal battles, Alexander's wisdom will challenge you to think bigger, act bolder, and rise stronger. Stay tuned to the end for practical tips on how to apply these quotes in modern life, because true greatness begins with how you think. Let's unlock the mind of a legend, starting with number 1. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. This is not just a statement of confidence. It's a declaration of human potential. Alexander believed that effort, not talent alone, was the key to achieving the impossible. If you have the will to try, truly try, even the greatest obstacles can be overcome. A modern-day example. Think of Elon Musk. SpaceX was considered a crazy dream. Private companies weren't supposed to send rockets into space. He tried, he failed, he tried again. And now, he's reshaping space travel. The impossible became reality because he dared to try. Top 5 takeaway tips for viewers. Start before you're ready. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Take the first step, even if it's small. Don't fear failure. It's part of trying. Surround yourself with people who believe in possibility. Remind yourself daily. Trying is already halfway to winning. My Conrad warriors, you don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or strongest. What truly matters is that you try. Many people fail not because they couldn't, but because they never tried. Success favors the one who shows up and puts in effort, not just the one with natural gifts. Number 2. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. This quote powerfully emphasizes the impact of leadership over individual strength. Even the bravest individuals, lions, if led by someone weak, indecisive, or fearful, a sheep, will not reach their full potential. But even the most unlikely group, sheep, when led by someone bold, strategic, and fearless, a lion, can become a dominant force. Leadership shapes the mindset, behavior, and courage of the group. A great leader can transform the weak into the strong. Traditional classic story, the Battle of Thermopylae. In 480 BCE, 300 Spartans led by King Leonidas held off a massive Persian army at the narrow pass of Thermopylae. The Spartans were vastly outnumbered, a tiny group compared to the might of Persia's forces. What gave them the strength to stand and fight? It wasn't just their training. It was the leadership of Leonidas, who led from the front, inspired discipline, and showed no fear of death. His courage ignited theirs. Though they eventually fell, their stand became legendary, not because of numbers, but because of what strong leadership inspired in those who followed. Modern-day example, SpaceX and Elon Musk. SpaceX started with limited resources, skepticism, and major failures. But under Elon Musk's fearless leadership, a group of ordinary engineers and dreamers took on NASA, Boeing, and global space giants. The key wasn't just the brains of the engineers, it was the lion-like mindset of Musk, who believed in the impossible, pushed through failures, and rallied others to do the same. He turned a group of sheep, underdogs, into the team that revolutionized space travel. 5 key takeaways for YouTube viewers. Leadership matters more than strength. A powerful leader can uplift any team. Courage is contagious. When a leader is bold, followers become brave. Don't underestimate underdogs. With the right leader, they become unstoppable. Lead by example. People follow action more than words. Cultivate your lion mindset. Whether you're leading others or just your own life, Lead with purpose and fearlessness. My Conrad warriors' true strength comes from leadership. Even those who seem weak or powerless can achieve great things when guided by a strong, courageous leader. Conversely, without good leadership, even the strongest individuals can fail. Therefore, it's important to develop qualities like courage, vision, and responsibility because leadership can inspire and transform any group. Number 3, to the strongest. These words symbolize power, merit, and survival of the fittest. Rather than naming a single successor, Alexander left his empire to whoever had the strength to claim and hold it. It was a challenge, not just to one man, but to all. In essence, he believed that true leadership and legacy belonged to those strong enough to seize it, in will, mind, and strategy. Traditional classic story, The Sword in the Stone, Arthurian legend. In this classic tale, many noble knights tried to pull the sword from the stone, a symbol of rightful rule. None succeeded until the young Arthur, unnoticed and seemingly unworthy, pulled it with ease. It wasn't just physical strength that mattered. It was inner strength, character, and destiny. The sword chose not the loudest or most powerful, but the one truly fit to lead. Modern-day example: Jeff Bezos and Amazon. In the early days of e-commerce, many doubted whether online bookstores, let alone a vast online marketplace, could survive. But Jeff Bezos, with relentless strength of vision and execution, not only built Amazon but crushed competition. He didn't inherit dominance. He claimed it by strength, strategic thinking, risk-taking, and perseverance in the face of doubt. Here are 5 key takeaways for viewers. Power isn't given. It's earned. Strength is proven in action, not title. Legacy is claimed by those who step forward. Waiting to be chosen is not a strategy. True strength combines courage, vision, and discipline. When the moment comes, don't hesitate. Act boldly. You become the rightful leader by being the strongest in will, not just force. My Conrad warriors, you need to take the first step in opening honest, calm communication. Instead of assuming your partner knows what you feel or need, express your emotions clearly and respectfully. Vulnerability encourages understanding, and it creates space for your partner to respond with compassion. Healthy relationships are built on open dialogue, not unspoken expectations. Number 4. Remember, upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all. This quote reflects the power of personal responsibility within a collective effort. Alexander is reminding us that in any group, whether an army, a family, or a society, the actions of each individual affect the success of the whole. When each person shows discipline, integrity, and courage, the group thrives. But when one neglects their duty, it can cause collapse. Unity is only as strong as its parts. Let me share with you classic traditional tale. The Leaky Boat. In a small village, 5 men went out to sea in a single boat. One of them noticed a small leak forming near his seat. Instead of warning the others, he said, "It's only under my feet. Why should they worry?" Soon water rushed in and the whole boat began to sink. They all drowned because one man refused to act in the interest of the whole. Moral: in a shared journey, individual negligence leads to collective failure. A modern-day example you can relate to. Cybersecurity in a company. Imagine a tech company with high-level firewalls and security, but one employee clicks a phishing link in an email. That small mistake can lead to massive data breaches, lawsuits, and loss of trust. It only took one weak link to compromise the entire system. The conduct of that single employee endangered everyone. Here are 4 key tips to apply in daily life. Own your role, whether at work, home, or community. Understand your actions have ripple effects. Think team first. Before acting, ask, will this help or hurt the people I'm connected to? Lead by example. Your discipline may inspire others to rise to their best too. Hold others accountable with compassion. Help those around you stay responsible, not to control, but to protect the whole. My Conrad warriors, your individual actions, no matter how small, have a powerful impact on the people around you. In any team, family, or community, everyone shares responsibility. If each person acts with honesty, responsibility, and care, the whole group benefits. But if even one person is careless or selfish, it can harm everyone. So you should always act with integrity and awareness, knowing that your choices influence more than just your own life. They help shape the outcome for everyone connected to you. Number 5, I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity. This quote urges us to live with boldness, meaning, and purpose, even if the journey is brief or risky. A long life spent playing it safe but never stepping into your true power is in essence a life unlived. It calls for choosing impact over comfort and legacy over invisibility. Let me share a traditional story, the legend of Bhagat Singh, India. Bhagat Singh was a young Indian freedom fighter who during British colonial rule chose to stand for justice and revolution over personal safety. At just 23, he was executed. But his fiery spirit and sacrifice inspired millions and lives on in Indian history. Though his life was short, his fearless dedication gave birth to an unshakable legacy. His name remains synonymous with courage. Modern-day example about a single mother who built a business with purpose. Consider a single mother who leaves her stable but unfulfilling job to start a small wellness company focused on empowering women. Despite financial uncertainty and long hours, she chooses meaning over safety, knowing that her children are watching. Though she may not build an empire, the courage she shows, the values she lives, and the legacy she leaves in her children's hearts. That's her glory. She teaches them by example to live fully, not fearfully. Here are 5 key tips to implement this philosophy into daily life. Define what glory means to you. Not everyone wants fame. For some, glory is raising children with love or creating a business that changes lives. Embrace purpose over popularity. Let your actions be guided by meaning, not by trends or what others expect. Be willing to stand alone for what's right. Take calculated risks for the right reasons. Whether in parenting or work, choose the bolder path when your values are on the line. Regret often comes from inaction, not failure. Teach through action, not words. Especially as a parent or leader, children and teams remember what you did more than what you said. Live your truth openly. Leave a legacy, not just a resume. Ask yourself daily, if today were my last, did I move with courage? Did I make something or someone better? Even small acts of bravery ripple outward. My comrades, it's better to live boldly with purpose and passion, even if that life is brief, than to live a long life without meaning or impact. Courage, authenticity, and striving for what matters bring true fulfillment. A life well lived is measured not by its length, but by the strength of the legacy and memories you leave behind. Number 6. A tomb now suffices him for whom the whole world was not sufficient. At the height of his power, Alexander conquered much of the known world. Yet in death, he required only a small tomb. The quote is a reminder of life's impermanence, that no matter how powerful, wealthy, or ambitious we are, we all face the same end. It's a call to humility and a warning against pride, greed, and the illusion of immortality. Let me share a classic traditional story. The Emperor's Empty Hands. A powerful Eastern emperor obsessed with wealth and conquest asked to be buried with his treasures. His wise minister intervened and proposed a lesson instead. When you die, let your hands be placed outside the coffin, empty, for all to see that even emperors leave this world with nothing. At his funeral, the sight of the emperor's empty hands reminded all that earthly gain is temporary, but wisdom and virtue endure. A modern-day example about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, one of the greatest innovators of our time, built an empire that changed the world. But before he died, he reflected deeply on what truly matters, not wealth, but relationships, meaning, and the impact we leave behind. Despite all he built, he too left with nothing material. His own words warned against chasing success at the cost of love, kindness, and health. Here are 5 key takeaways to apply in life. Pursue purpose over possession. Aim to leave meaning, not just material, behind. Live humbly. No matter your status, remember we all return to the same earth. Measure success by legacy. What values will outlive you? Focus on the present. Tomorrow is not promised. Make today count with intention. Practice detachment. Own things, but don't let them own you. My Conrad warriors. No matter how much wealth, power, or possessions you accumulate in life, death is the great equalizer that renders all worldly gains meaningless. Therefore, you should focus on living a life of purpose, kindness, and humility, valuing what truly matters, such as relationships, integrity, and compassion, because these are the lasting legacies beyond material things. True fulfillment comes not from what you possess, but how you live and who you impact. Focus on kindness, relationships, and purpose rather than chasing endless achievements. In the end, legacy is not about how much you had, but how much you gave. Number 7. Heaven cannot brook 2 sons, nor earth 2 masters. This quote expresses the reality of power, dominance, and leadership. That ultimate authority cannot be shared. Just as the sky cannot have 2 suns without chaos, the world cannot have 2 supreme rulers without conflict. It's about singularity of command, the inevitability of competition at the highest level, and the understanding that leadership at the top often comes with rivalry, not companionship. Here is a classic traditional story. The Tiger and the Lion. In a distant land, a tiger and a lion each ruled half of the great forest. Both were strong, wise, and feared. But peace was uneasy. The animals grew confused, torn between loyalties. Eventually, the 2 beasts met at the river where territory overlapped. The lion roared, "There cannot be 2 kings in one jungle." The tiger nodded and replied, "Then let us see whose roar echoes longer." They fought. Only one walked away. The forest had clarity again. Moral: in moments of ultimate leadership, conflict often arises until one clear path remains. Modern-day example: Apple versus Microsoft, 1980s to 2000s. For years, Apple and Microsoft battled for dominance over the tech industry. There were brief partnerships, but in reality, both couldn't be the supreme leader of the personal computing world. Eventually, Apple carved its path through innovation and brand identity, while Microsoft dominated software. They found their own sons, but only after intense rivalry forced each to sharpen their identity. Here are 5 key takeaways for daily life. Clarity in leadership is crucial. Mixed directions create confusion. Unity requires one clear vision. You must own your domain. If you want to lead, you must lead decisively. Healthy conflict can shape excellence. Rivalry can refine your edge. Don't fear competition. Avoid power struggles in teams. Too many masters cause division. Define roles clearly. Be bold in purpose. Don't share your throne with fear or doubt. Claim your place with certainty. True harmony and success come from clear leadership, unity, and mutual respect. When roles and boundaries are respected, cooperation replaces conflict, preventing power struggles and fostering peace and productivity in families, workplaces, and relationships. Because just as heaven cannot bear 2 sons, no space thrives under 2 competing masters. Number 8. With the right attitude, self-discipline, and determination, anything is possible. This quote is a timeless reminder that success isn't just about talent or luck. It's about your mindset. When you approach life with a positive attitude, practice daily discipline, and stay relentlessly determined, you can overcome obstacles that once seemed impossible. It's not about having everything. It's about making the most of what you have every single day. A classic traditional story. The stonecutter. An ordinary stonecutter worked tirelessly each day, feeling powerless. One day he wished to be strong, and he magically became a mighty mountain. But soon the mountain was eroded by the wind. He wished to become the wind, then the sun, then a storm. Each time believing it was the ultimate power. Finally he realized that as a simple stonecutter with focus and persistence, he had the power to shape mountains all along. Moral: it's not external power, but inner strength and effort that change the world. A modern-day example. J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter. Before fame, Rowling was a single mother on welfare, facing rejection after rejection from publishers. But she never gave up. With the right attitude, disciplined writing, and unshakable determination, she eventually published Harry Potter, creating one of the most successful book series in history. She transformed her life, not through luck, but by refusing to quit. Here are 5 key tips to implement daily. Start with the right mindset. Your attitude sets the tone for everything. Build daily discipline. Small, consistent actions lead to massive change. Stay determined through setbacks. Quitting is the only true failure. Focus on what you can control. Energy wasted on excuses is power lost. Believe in the long game. Great things take time. Stay the course. My Conrad Warrior's success begins within you. With the right mindset, daily discipline, and the determination to keep going through challenges, you can turn failure into achievement. The path may not be easy, but your effort will lead to real results. Number 9. In the end, when it's over, all that matters is what you've done. This quote is a powerful reflection on legacy and action. It reminds us that when life comes to a close, it's not about what you planned, dreamed, or intended. It's about what you actually did. What impact did you make? What risks did you take? What people did you help? Intentions fade, actions remain. That's what defines a life well lived. A classic traditional story. The empty jar of promises. There once was a man who spent his life promising to plant a beautiful garden for his village. He talked often of his grand vision, the colors, the smells, the peace it would bring. Years passed, and he never planted a single seed. On his deathbed, the villagers brought him a jar filled with dust. "This is your garden," they said. "It was never what you imagined. It was what you did, and you did nothing." Moral: legacy is built by actions, not promises. Here is a modern-day example we can all relate to about Kobe Bryant. Kobe wasn't just remembered for his talent, he was remembered for what he did with it. He showed up early, trained hard, led fiercely, inspired millions, and gave back. After his tragic passing, what people remembered wasn't just his skill, but his work ethic, his impact, and the lives he touched. He did the work, and that's why his legacy endures. 5 key life lessons to apply. Start now. Don't wait to make an impact. Begin where you are. Let your actions speak. Talk less about what you'll do. Show it through action. Create, don't just consume. What are you building that will outlive you? Measure life by contribution, not duration. It's not how long you live. It's what you do while you're alive. Reflect daily. If today were my last, would I be proud of how I lived it? My Conrad Warriors, life is not measured by your dreams, promises, or intentions, but by your actions. What truly defines your legacy is how you treated others, the choices you made, and the impact you left behind. So live with purpose, follow through on your values, and make your actions reflect who you want to be remembered as, because in the end, only what you've done will matter. Number 10. To conquer the world, you must first conquer yourself. This quote means that before you can lead others, achieve great things, or take control of external circumstances, you must first master your own mind, impulses, fears, and habits. Conquering yourself means developing self-awareness, emotional control, discipline, and the ability to rise above ego and temptation. Only then can you lead with clarity, power, and wisdom. A classic traditional story: the samurai and the angry farmer. A young samurai was walking through a village when a rude farmer began shouting insults at him. The samurai stood silently, then walked away. A boy nearby asked, "Why didn't you fight him? You could have won easily." The samurai replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, who does it belong to?" "To the one who offered it," the boy replied. "So too with anger," said the samurai. "If I do not accept his anger, it stays with him." Moral: the true warrior does not need to conquer others to prove strength. He conquers his own ego. Modern-day example: David Goggins. Once overweight and undisciplined, David Goggins transformed himself through brutal self-discipline, mental toughness, and relentless work ethic. Before he became a Navy SEAL or ultramarathon runner, he had to confront his own weaknesses: fear, laziness, excuses. He didn't conquer the world by defeating others. He did it by defeating the man in the mirror. 5 key life lessons to apply. Discipline builds power. When you can command yourself, no challenge feels unconquerable. Master your emotions. Anger, fear, and pride often sabotage more than external enemies. Self-reflection is essential. Know your flaws so you can rise above them. Control your habits. What you do daily determines who you become. Lead from within. You can't expect to inspire or lead others if you haven't led yourself first. My Conrad warriors, true success and leadership begin with self-mastery. Before you can effectively influence others or overcome external challenges, you must first understand, control, and improve yourself, your thoughts, emotions, habits, and weaknesses. When you master yourself, you build the foundation needed to face any obstacle and achieve lasting success. So in the end, the greatest battle you'll ever fight is the one within. You can chase success, power, or recognition, but if you haven't conquered your fears, your habits, and your ego, the victories will be hollow. Remember, true greatness begins with self-mastery. Conquer your mind, and the world will follow. If this message inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more insights that challenge the way you think and lead you closer to the warrior within.